All right, all right. All right. Aloha Friday, everybody. Thank you for being with us today. We are going to be talking about emotional intelligence and financial liberty with Dr. Wanda. Dr. W for most people that understand, but she is the founder and CEO of Dr. W Life Skills Institute. Doctora, bienvenida a Aloha Friday Live.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor, and I'm so excited. This is so cool. Aloha Friday.
Aloha to everybody. Thank you all for joining us, whether you're joining us from LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. We are fortunate to have you with us as we have this conversation. So let me give you a backdrop, folks. I know Dr. W from a financial standpoint, right? And we're going to be talking about how you can get into some financial liberty, some financial well investments, things that you can actually get into that are going to maximize your funds. Unlike most things out here, they are dripping you dry, right? From when you get it, it's gone. And we want to make sure that you are educated in that aspect. But we also want to talk about the emotional piece, the emotional intelligence piece to finance, because a lot of people focus on emotional intelligence from the leadership perspective as how they apply it to people. But guess what? Before we are leaders, before we are anything, we're singular. We are a person, and we have to be emotionally intelligent enough to guide ourselves. And so if I advise any leader on the things that they should do, is that they should do it for themselves first and then tell somebody else. But before we get into that conversation, un poquito de usted, dime, what is Dr. W all about? Give us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm a former chemist, chemical. I'm a former chemist. I worked for the pharmaceutical industry for a long time. And then in 2004, actually 20 years ago, I decided to switch, to change gears to what is emotional intelligence Chinese medicine. I learned that the energy of the body, the blockages of energy is the one that cause illnesses in our body. Is called psychosomatic conditions. And when we know how to handle the emotions, our energy is going to flow. There are certain emotions that just block the energy and you get ill, you get diseases. And you could heal yourself if you know how to manage your emotions. Everything starts from there. And then I have my clinic. I used to do therapy to help people to increase the flow, the energy flow, increase the energy levels and get healthy. And then I realized that we need to teach people how to do it. And in 2012, I started to educate people with books, with classes, with workshops. Now we have the school online. Everything is online since 2019. And we identify two major triggers in life that actually block the energy, cause a lot of emotions, blockages, that is sex and money. And we focus in money, looking for tools, for options, how to ease the finances of the people, especially us. We are entrepreneurs, we have businesses, and we always are struggling with the money. And in that part, I'm a scientist. I look to research and I start to look for options. And then I got the blessing to learn and about DeFi, decentralized finances. That is an option, it's an opportunity that is there for all of us. Just we have to educate ourselves and get into it.
I love that. Oftentimes we start on one road. We say, okay, this is what I want to do. I love what I do. Boom, boom, boom. And then we find ourselves in a transition point. You took that to go into a totally different avenue, right? You went into Chinese medicine, the emotional structure of a person and how that impacts your energy and things like that. Now, for a person that has taught leadership development for a while, I understand the impacts of negative energy and positive energy in the workplace because
Mhm.
you feel it instantly.
Oh
I,
yeah.
somebody comes into work and you could tell right away that something has gone drastically wrong for them in their own personal journey. Now they brought that to the work and you all get to partake. Right, so it's
It's contagious. It's contagious. As the positive energy is contagious, negative energy could be like that bad potato that is going to damage everything around, and you could feel it, and that drain you. Uh, Consciously or unconsciously,
oh yeah,
one person that is negative in a place, an environment, is going to start to damage and low the energy of the whole group and the whole company. And this is why leaders also have to pay attention to it to be able to feel and address it on time.
that's for sure. I tell you, I had one experience, and real quickly, I was shadowing somebody. I thought it was a good idea for me to get familiar with what they did since I was going to go mentor them. And by the time the day was up, I wanted to go to sleep. So
Yeah.
I was I was so drained that I was like, I'm never gonna do that again.
Mhm.
But it happens, folks, and especially in the workforce. And we'll address the emotional intelligence here as we progress in this. But let's talk about defy emociones, right? Defy the decentralized finances. What is that?
DeFi Emociones is a program that we have developed that merge the emotional intelligence aspect with the finances decentralized DeFi because cause a lot of fear, a
Mm.
lot of insecurity, frustration, actually attachments. One of the biggest attachments of the people is the money, because obviously we spend or we trade our time for money. That means that has is valuable, and we need to know where, with who we work, where we are going to put the money, and especially our risk tolerance. Everything in investment is a risk. It's nothing is for sure, and that means that you need to educate yourself, and you have to have your emotions in track, the fear, and also the greedy, the grief, because sometimes people wants to make money, and they risk everything, and they don't measure the actions and the decisions that they are taking, and every step in the process need to have that emotional balance since the beginning, since the moment that you decide consciously, voluntary, to get this option that is called DeFi.
And I love that because look, folks, just in full transparency, so you don't think that I'm just talking and bringing guests here because this is some hypothetical thing and it doesn't happen. Right in front of me, there's a letter, there's a amount, and there's a deadline. And do you think that that's not affecting me emotionally? Yes, it is. And why I'm bringing that up is not for you to all be in my business. It's for you to understand that this is happening all over the place. And a lot of times we don't understand how impactful a a financial obligation can be on somebody. Now, sometimes my heart beats faster, sometimes it beats slower, depending on how that works. But the fact is that there's a lot of emotion packed into our finances. And a
Mhm.
lot of times, and just like you said, sometimes you can go way left and risk it all, to the point where you're signing off your house to pay for an obligation. Or you can go this way and act like it's not there.
Mhm.
And then that's not responsible neither, right? So you got to find what that middle ground is between your responsibility and how you allow your emotions to lead you into a responsible way, and how you are not going to allow your emotions to lead you in a irresponsible way. And
And
so,
it's a balance because all this is your brain start to run miles per hour, and then you are wasting so much energy that belongs to your immune system, that eventually that drain of your energy, you're going to get sick. And if you get illness, you have to get to the hospital, you're going to have more death, you're not going to be able to work. And it's this circle that never ends if we don't stop and say, hey, I want to do this because I know that it's an opportunity, it's a good option, it's there. Other people are using it. It's not new. This is something else. Some people think that this is the new kid in the block, and it's not. These options and these instruments and these systems has been there for a long time. The only thing is that we were not able to enjoy the benefits because there's some regulations, some restrictions that to go to the decentralized, not traditional finances give us the opportunity. I said the el simple mortal, a single person get those benefits that right now the traditional banking are getting. How many people have money in savings account that get 000 nothing every month in interest? They are saving the money. They think that is safe to have it in a bank account, but it's not getting any benefits. And you could put your money to work for you in a responsible way if you learn how to do it.
yes, I agree, and I'm down that journey. So I'm telling folks, it's something that you have to come to grips with. You know, are you satisfied with your money not making money? Yeah, you put two humans together, and you can pop out another human. But if you put $2 together and you're not popping out another dollar, something's wrong, right? Let's just put it that way, and you should start thinking about that, because the fact is that the money should be working for you. The money should be generating other types of money, and if you're not doing that or you're not in a position of that, that is why we have this program, right? So tell us about this program that you're running. You have the book, you have the podcast, and people can go buy that, can go listen to it. But tell us more about your program.
A disclaimer, right now everything is in Spanish. Obviously, I'm from Puerto Rico. Eventually we are going to have the version in English, but for the people that are bilingual that speak Spanish, we have the book. It's called DeFi Emociones. It's in Amazon. Actually, we are running a promotion. It's free right now. You could download it in Kindle and start to read. There are some steps, and in each step it's going to trigger some emotions, and it's going to give you tools that you could actually ease the process. Then in the podcast, we are going to be developing each of the topics more in deep, and also it's for free. Eventually the book obviously is going to have a cost. Right now it's in promotion, but the podcast is going to be free, only to give you the theory, give you the knowledge, give you the information in a responsible way, and always dealing and paying attention to the emotions that you feel in each step. Because if we ignore the emotions, you are going to be blocked. You're going to say, this is not for me, I'm not good in technology, I don't understand, this is hard, and you're going to be losing a great opportunity that is there for you. And you are the one that are going to determine your tolerance to risk. You don't have to be risky. It's just a process. Then if you decide that this is something for you, we have a mentorship program that we could go with you. We could actually open an exchange, centralized exchange. We could teach you how to buy, how to sell, how to transfer cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. What is that? Why you should use it? What are the usage? What else I could do in that amazing world that is not only DeFi right now. Blockchain is an amazing technology Tokens is amazing. Gaming is amazing. NFTs is so much out there that maybe it's scary at the beginning because we don't know. It's like you are talking Chinese, Wanda, what that means. DeFi, blockchain, crypto, miedo, no? But if you start to learn step by step and then you decide to have someone that be with you during the process, you are going to feel more confident, you are going to learn, and you are going to be able to do it right and without causing you stress.
Absolutely. Now, I want to tell folks that everything we do has an element of fear with it, right? Everything we do that we don't know, because the lack of knowledge in a specific area will lead you to say, okay, well, what about this or what about that? And that's perfectly fine. Courage, right? Because you're going to have some type of courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It ain't. It's the ability to act even when fear is present. And so when you apply that ability, that courage, you can see something that you probably didn't see before. I will tell you that for many years, I have known about all of these things because, like you said before, they've been around. Things have been around, right? There's been avenues for you to allow your money to work for you. And I allowed courage to be my director versus my fear. And so I went on a journey, right? We're working together right now. And I will tell you that I have never seen my money grow like it is today. Now
Mhm.
it's an investment, so it's not a put in and take out, right? So that's not the point when you
It's
start
not
down
an ATM, and it's not that.
right,
It's a plan.
right. And so as you go down this journey, down this plan of financial I say differentiator, right? You want to diversify the different ways that you can use money and put them into play. And we'll talk a little bit about how we do that on in a little bit. But it takes courage, right? It takes courage. But let me tell you, having the ability to do so and not doing anything about it is probably worse than not even knowing about it. And so when you know, the question that I remember my mentor used to ask me, now that you know, what are you going to do about it? Because it is action required for you to pair it with your emotional intelligence to create yourself a financial footprint that will lead you to success down the road. So now that you know, what are you going to do about it, right? So thank you for sharing that. The fact that not only do you have this book, and I put the link in the comments on LinkedIn, so people can just click on there, go straight to Kindle, and take advantage of that if you want. Then you have the podcast where obviously you talk about these things. But the beauty of the book is the fact that you have a program set up for those that want to deep dive and get some more information. Now, let's concentrate now this section on emotional intelligence because um, a lot of people think this is just a workplace type stuff. Oh, they talk about emotional intelligence, coupled with leadership and the workplace, and I need to, treat my people kindly and this and that and the other. Uh, em- you carry emotions 24/7, even in your sleep, people. You are an emotional being. I laid down for a little bit before this and I was sleeping. I was having a dream. I don't remember my dreams, but this one I do. It was just going. So my emotions, right, got a hold of my sleep time and created these things. So when we're talking emotional intelligence, how do we put ourselves in a position where we can be stable when it comes to finances?
Well, the most important thing here is to be aware, and that is all about energy, and how you manage your emotions is going to determine your health, it's going to determine your productivity, and it's going to determine your interpersonal relationships. That means that that is important because we receive triggers in any of the 8 areas of health. It's not only triggers financially, we have triggers socially, at home, at work, at church, at the community, with the news, worldwide. We also have triggers physically. That means our health, how we want to feel. If we discover something that we have any kind of disease or something, that also is going to cause stress. In the intellectual part, that means sometimes I feel low self-esteem or insecure because I'm always comparing myself with other people. No one knows all, and everybody is amazing in something. We have to discover our gift and talents and develop them, and don't start to compare ourselves with other people. That put a lot of pressure on us. The memories, the attachments, and our spiritual life. I mean, there is so much triggers that we have every day, especially if we just in the news, the media, the social media, that puts so much pressure. That means that first, I love to use the coaching methodology to say, what do you want to achieve? Let's define a clear goal of how do you want to feel. And I say, well, I want to be, and I always like to measure in terms of energy. You want to be 90 to 100, 80 to 90, 70 to 80, and you kind of measure your levels of energy. That means that if your goal is be high in energy because you know that your health, your productivity, and your interpersonal relationship depend on it, you have to work to be in that 90 to 100. Or if you want to feel 80 to 90, you have to set up the goal. Then you are going to explore options. If you know that you are dealing with fear, you are dealing with anxiety, with stress, you have to identify the emotion and what is causing it, in which of the areas, if it's financial, if it's social, if it's your marriage, if it's your kids, if it's your work, if it's your dreams, whatever it is causing that frustration, that insecurity, that sadness, that depression. And when you start to explore options, I know what is causing it. Let me see what are the tools that are available and if I have the resources to put on it. Resources are my time, my energy, and sometimes money, because not all the things and all the help is free. That means that I have to check which are my resources. I know what is my goal because I identify my problem, and now I'm going to design a strategic plan to get into that level of energy and give me the opportunity to achieve that lifestyle or that life that I want to live, that I want to experience, that I want to be that light in others without any energy blockage and healing myself from inside to outside.
And I tell you that it emotionally can trigger a lot of outward, like physical things. I have seen somebody, and I've experienced this in my lifetime, right? So I'll tell you that there's been a lot of times in my life where the emotions are running so high, but on the negative side, that I have physically gotten ill. I have physically been down, right? The most recent one was when my mom passed in 21, right? So that took me out emotionally to the point where I just couldn't think right. Just couldn't
Mhm.
think right. I couldn't focus on anything. It was like I was in some void, and it 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 resulted in me having to leave my job. And so these are consequences of not having a good balance around emotional stability, right? And we're talking about intelligence, and that's just how to use your emotions to further you in a good, positive way. But emotionally, the emotions trigger a lot of things in our bodies, mainly in the mind, right? Because that's
Mhm.
where the battle really is. You know, what's your belief system? Are you one of those that, hey, trust the Lord, right? Trust the Lord, and you could trust the Lord, and you be like centered, right? Because you know that
Mhm.
there's some things you just can't control. He's got it. And or do you have that faith background? Do you have that type of background where you just kind of center and use different techniques and methodologies to kind of make your emotions rest, right? Get it
Mhm.
to center, how they call it, right? Where you can actually make some great decisions. Now, uh, let's bring in the element of finances, because I just talked about my little predicament there. But
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that are in a position, especially in today's economy. I'm not going to blame it all on economy. Economy is one aspect. Decision making is another, right? Because we did, they didn't make us get into this or that, right? So
Mhm.
when you make those decisions, there's this thing called emotional buying, right?
Mhm.
Emotional spending, emotional eating. There's we're so tied. So when
Mhm.
it comes to finances, the what is your suggestion for a person that is struggling right now, making those wise decisions for finances, and how to get themselves to a starting point, right? Because folks, everything has to start, right? So you
Mhm.
got to get there. So how do we, what do you suggest that they do to get to that starting point?
Obviously, we don't know what we don't know. Let's start from there. And we cannot blame ourselves of the results that we have until today because we didn't know. Now that we do know is what you're going to do with it. Something that people ask me and say, how you got into finances? Why or how from emotional intelligence, energy, holistic, you got into money? That kind of doesn't match for some people. And a lot of people don't even understand how in the world Wanda is talking a lot about money and DeFi and finances. And let me tell you, it's because I'm team time. We only have 24 hours a day. And if I'm spending all my time or trading all my time for money, because all the money depend on me, on my time, I have to work physically myself, and I don't have the money working by himself, I'm spending all my time. I don't have time to eat right. I don't have time to actually exercise. I don't have time to pray, to meditate. I don't have time to sleep. I don't have time to be with the people that I love and build those strong relationships that are really, really matter in life. That means that I don't have time to read a book. I don't have time to listen a podcast. I don't have time to associate with people that have information that is going to educate me and is going to take me to another level, because all my time, if it's not working, is worried about I have to make money. That means I have to work again because I have to pay this and this. That actually is the reason why we got as the or we found that the cause of a lot of our issues is finances. We live in this planet. That means that yes, we are spiritual. Yes, we pray. We believe in God, but we have bills to pay. Especially if we are entrepreneurs, that we have not a hobby, we have a business for profit. That means that we have to start to integrate tools that make our money making easier and faster and more efficient. And this is how we get into finances in the right way. And then we explore which options are the best for me, because different options for different people.
Yes, and it really is based on what you want to see out of your financial journey, folks. So, what we're going to discuss here in the next several minutes is going to be different tools around how you can diversify your finances where you're not always trading your time for money, because what a I tell you, that's not an even trade.
Mm.
No, no one on the face of this earth can pay you accordingly for your 1 hour of life. No one. There's nobody. And so if nobody can pay you for the actually, right, factually to the point of what your life is worth for an hour, if no one can pay you, you have to start paying yourself, right? You have to set yourself up in a way where you can do this. So what are some ways, and we'll go through these, that people can start getting into? Now, I mentioned earlier, right? It's going to take some courage on your part. It has to be. You have to step out. You have to be courageous. But what are some of those avenues that you can get into? Some of these different ways of generating money for you while you're, let's say, sleeping, right?
Yeah. Well, technically, I always like to give options to people. Is the option is do it for yourself, or be part of a community or a company that give you, help you, and facilitate the process. While you learn, always is good to have that a company that help you, or you could yeah, start to learn making money while you are learning. And then when you get really good, you could do it by yourself. But then we are going to go back to the point of, I really want to put my time to do it. Is I always give this example. I love to travel. I love to use the tool that is the aircraft or the plane to go from one point A to point B. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know how to work a aircraft. I didn't design the aircraft, but I get the benefits of it. And I like to use that as to define what is blockchain, DeFi, finances, that you could actually do it for yourself, or you could actually relay in a company that give you the step by step, help you out, but you have to evaluate which company you are going to be joining, because obviously it's a lot of scams, it's a lot of things out there that most of the people, because they jump into it without evaluating the company, the leadership, the integrity, the product, the entity of the company, the regulations around the company. I ask, and people tell me, but you know what? I was a scam. I lost money. I say, okay, but tell me a little bit more about the tool that you use. Well, Enrique told me, and as he's my cousin, I jump into it. I'm like, but you didn't do your homework. You didn't learn the basics. Well, then you are gambling. You are not investing. And it's a big, big difference. And when we actually decide to join a company that give us the first steps, we have to put a lot of learning on it, because we have to take a responsibility about our finances. Is only tools that we are going to use, but we are going to see our money grow.
And it's important for you to understand when you're taking your possession, right? Your money is your possession. You have it. And you are putting it down somewhere. That didn't come at no cost. right? You already had to invest your life for that. So if you're not doing due diligence on the things that you're putting that trade off, that time for money, and then now you're putting it in this thing with an unknowledgeable aspect, meaning you went into it without even knowing any. You're right. That is a gamble. I mean, if I go to the casino, then I guess here in Florida, there's only one really in Tampa side.
Mm.
But if I go to that casino and I drop some money on the first table that I come across and just say, I don't know how to play this, let me just put it down, I'm probably going to lose it, right? More than likely. So get educated on the different types of avenues and tools that are out there. You know, you already have your money, just hold on to it, right? The bank will hold on to it for nothing. Right?
And
So
diversify. You are going to evaluate which percentage you are going to leave in your bank because you need that liquidity. You are going to determine how much of the percentage you are going to keep in traditional finances that maybe give you a less return, but some way somehow you feel that it's more secure. That mean, and then you could get some percentage of your money and say, well, I'm going to explore this option that I have better return, maybe a little bit of more risk, but it's worth it. Because if you actually could play the 80-20, that maybe that 20 is going to give you more of the other 80 that you have more safe in traditional finances. I never tell people jump into it and put everything that you have, that you're going to be millionaire tomorrow and you're going to be rich. Because I always tell people educate yourself, learn how to manage your emotions during the process, and take advantage of tools that are out there to help us to navigate this war, because we have to find a way to survive. It's not, we are not going to survive. The inflation is killing us. You know, the rate that the people get in different jobs, the people, most of the people don't even have now retirement plan. We maybe, we cannot even talk about social security. We don't have enough to be saving in 401k, or people doesn't have enough to be putting in a saving account every month that is not growing in a rate. Well, then let's say, okay, well, what is your goal? My goal is to design a portfolio that maybe I feel comfortable putting 20% of my savings in this tool, the other 80 keep it in the ones that I feel more comfortable, that doesn't cause me a lot of stress. And then you start to learn and see it growth. And then while you are learning, you could switch or modify that percentages with the time. As your knowledge grow, your money is going to be growing, but you are in the system already. You are learning with practice, not looking from here with fear. I don't going to get there one day when I'm ready, because never we are going to be ready. We are just need to say, okay, I feel comfortable starting with this amount, and I'm comfortable putting X amount of time and hours to understand the basics. And then from there, it's like when you start to lose weight, that you get emotional and say, oh my gosh, it's working. And now you exercise more and you're going to start to lift weights. The same thing when you start to make money, you start to get, oh my gosh, I have to learn this more and more.
mhm.
I have been learning and practicing in this almost 4 years already. And it's a little bit addictive, not for the point of making money, is everything that is out there, that now is the technology and the web3 and all these technologies available for us that we were not able to use before. And that is what amazed me, because one of my values is freedom. And just to feel that we have the freedom to decide, to make decisions in the financial aspect, that no one could tell me, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. This is only for people that are accredited investors. You need to have 1 million to be able to invest on that, because that is for these particular people, not for you, because you are not there yet. You have to keep working, 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 because these tools that give you these benefits are not for you. I don't like that, because I believe in freedom. And this is why technology that gives the opportunity to people to learn and also apply it and be part of it, I love it. I'm in love with it.
Yeah, and you're right. As soon as you see what the difference is between what you had and what's possible, it does become a little more interesting, right? Going back to your gym uh, reference there, it's like that. So let me tell you what I did, right? So folks that are out there, you're like, oh, Enrique, you got this thing, you're talking about this, and that. I took $50, right? I can go to McDonald's with my family and spend $50. Easy. So I say, you know what, we're gonna skip that one time. And I took $50 and I bought me a little percentage of Bitcoin. Nothing that I was gonna cry about. It was just a meal out of 3, out of the whole month, just one. And I said, let me just leave it there, right? So time passes by, and my son asked me something about Bitcoin. I said, let me go check. I forgot about it. Let me go check. And when I clicked my little app, it was $300. Because at the time that I got the Bitcoin, it was at this rate. And by the time I checked it, it was like 74,000 of Bitcoin, right? And so my $50 just became 300 without me even doing anything. And this is not a Bitcoin, this, that, and the other. I'm telling you what I did. And so when I saw that, I said, hold up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now I'm going to keep track. And when that joker dips again, I'm going to buy me another 50. I'm not crying about $50, but I just saw 150 go to 3. So maybe now it's 100. It'll go to, and so before long, this thing is multiplying and it's there, and I'm telling. So that was my first experience. And this was before we actually even got together for this next piece that we're going to talk about. So I already had experienced that on my own. I didn't go through a company. I didn't go through a broker. It was me, $50, and the result.
Mm-hmm.
And so then my brother, Tony, God bless you. Love you, buddy. He was, he said, hey, Enrique, Enrique, no, you don't call me Enrique, but he said, Junie, because that's what he calls me. I just experienced this in the financial world. Let me tell you about it. But I already had an experience, right, by myself. So when he told me, I was like, well, that's a no-brainer. This is a company, and we'll talk about that now. Smart, and he gave me the whole lowdown. I went in, I checked it out, right, because we just said if you don't do due diligence, shame on you. I love my brother, and I happen to believe that he's probably one of the most financially savvy of my family. But still, you got to go look, right? So anyway, I did, and I said, hey, let's try that out. And I took an amount that wasn't what it was originally. I originally had a different amount. my AC units go down, and guess where that money went, right? So, because we're in Florida, so you're gonna hit that AC. Anyway, I had a good amount left. I said, let me go and try this. It did not cost me any stress. It wasn't an amount that was gonna make me lose sleep at night, and it wasn't an amount I wasn't willing to let go of, even if I lost it. So that's key when you're talking about the courage that I was referring to in the beginning. Is the money you're putting in fitting the mold of it won't stress you out, it won't make you lose sleep, and you're okay if you had to part ways with it? That's easy money to play with, right? That's easy money to invest. But I I haven't checked today, but I checked not too long ago, maybe a week ago, and I'm not going to tell you the amount except for my smile, right? Because I've never seen money work like that. And so let's talk about smart at this in this junction of the time, because this is the part of the organization that's in place to do your bidding, with your money, your investment, and you get to see this flourish, and you're there. It's not like you're far away. No, you're there. I mean, when I log into my account, it's in my account. I'm looking at everything day by, so let's talk about Smart a little bit.
Yeah, Smart, one of the main things is Smart is a company. It's not a platform. It's a company with physical offices. Is established in Mexico, and that gives us the opportunity to learn because they have an educational program that is the one that take us step by step. I put the topic of emotional intelligence because I realized that without emotional intelligence, it's really hard to navigate that world. But Smart give us the education with the purpose of using those tools that is going to make the money growth first to pay debt. The main thing is be debt free. We are used to have credit cards top. We have to start a business with a loan. We are used to go to college taking a loan, and we have debt all around. Uh, no wonder the people that are here in the United States has a debt of almost $34 trillion. That means that it's in the culture that we have to live with death. But what about if we teach ourselves to be debt free? That is the first thing. Then, with that money that is growing, you are going to save money for emergencies. You're going to save money to pay off your house. You're going to save money to invest in another projects that are going to be sources of income that is going to complement that cash flow that you need monthly to have the lifestyle that you want to. This is why also another coaching step of this is to define what type of life you want to achieve or enjoy and for when. If you are close to the 50s or you are close to the 60s or you are close to your 40s, you want to have be debt free. You want to have different source of income that give you a cash flow of X amount of money monthly that paid your lifestyle. Well, we have to work and we use Smart as a tool. In the process, you keep learning that then you could do it for yourself in the DeFi platform that is also part of the education that we are going to get. Smart is a tool, but then that tool is going to be like the next, is going to take you to the next step that when you are ready, you could go to DeFi by yourself and get even more benefit and more return of investment, but then you are responsible because you have the knowledge to do it for you. I see it smart as when you start to learn how to ride bike, that at the beginning you have the two wheels in the side to keep you in track and give you the stability to you continue riding the bike. Then you learn and you could go on and do a lot of things with your bike. That means that when you at the beginning need those wheels in the side to give you the stability, to give you that certainty, to give you the security, that you start to learn and practice with the little wheels. And then when you are ready, you are going to be ready to go DeFi all over, and you take care of that percentage of your portfolio that is going to help you to continue paying debt, save, and invest in other projects that give you that passive income.
That's wonderful. Now, folks, we're talking about this portion, and before we got into this, we talked about what she provides: a book, a podcast, a program. For those of you that joining us, thank you for joining. I see a lot of folks in LinkedIn, see some in YouTube, and we'll see some in here not too long ago in Facebook. But we spoke about emotional intelligence and the ties to financial stability, right? Because we are emotional beings, and a lot of the things we do are derived from that emotion, whatever it may be at the time, whether it's a negative emotion or a positive emotion, right? Those things that help you give benevolently is probably from a positive emotion. I've never seen somebody mad and say, here, but God bless you. Right? Normally it comes with a smile and a good heart, right? So, you have to key into the how the emotions are really either blessing your finances or they're hurting your finances. And once you can get to that place, then now we're in the section of what we're talking about, the diversification of the use of your money in percentages that allow you to do it with freedom and a happy heart, that you're not like overly stressed. And I love that you shared that. Uh, think about it in percentages. Don't throw everything in there.
Mhm.
Have yourself a good amount in what you think is safe, and
Mhm.
then start applying little by little to these different avenues to allow you to diversify your portfolios. But now we're in this stage that you can either have a company run that for you, or and get educated. It's not one or the other. Have the company, get educated, because there might be avenues and tools in the future, and if not within the organization, to help you diversify even further and maybe do it for yourself. So, Wanda, thank you so much for this share that you've given us throughout these last three segments that we covered. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, they say, hey, Wanda, yeah, I heard about Smart. Hey, I heard about Defy. Hey, I heard about your podcast. I heard about your book. I heard about your training. If they wanted to get a hold of you, what would be the best way for them to do so? And how can they get in touch with for your program?
Definitely visiting the website, go to www.drwinstitute.online, and then you could get a lot of information there. If that sounds appealing, interesting, from there you are going to be able to contact me directly. We are going to have a conversation. We are going to explore which are your goals, explore some options, because maybe it's an option, maybe it's not. Maybe we could be one of the different options that we do have in our program. And then if you decide and you want to, we could work together. We have the podcast, like I said, is going to be, it's called Defy Emociones, that how the emotions are going to impact your journey in this amazing world that we call DeFi. And also, obviously, the book is the first step to at least have a better understanding. You always could educate yourself. Remember that sometimes we look for information, but have a mentor that have done it, have the best interest to help you out, and if there to answer your questions. It's really important to don't waste time and money. And we are here. I think that it's amazing, the technology, the evolution of the technology, where we are going. And I also believe that it's a blessing that we have the option, the opportunity to be part and to change our life and the future generations. It's not only for us, it's for our kids, it's for our grandkids, it's for the future generations, that we could say, hey, one day I decide to educate myself. One day in 2008, this amazing technology, they developed this that is called Bitcoin, that take us to next step: blockchain, Ethereum, DeFi, DAO. And I took the conscious decision of educate myself in Web3, and now I have different results. It's the same thing that maybe our parents or before, people say, oh my gosh, I wish that I was there when the internet started, or I wish that I was there in the era of this or that. And I sometimes we say, se me pasó el tren, no, the train passed away and I didn't get in. You have the opportunity to take this conscious, voluntary decision to educate yourself, to learn, and after you do your due diligence, you decide, no, this is not for me, this is too much risk, I don't want it. That is okay. But at least you gave yourself the opportunity to know, and you didn't decide from the ignorance, from the fear, from the don't know. You took a conscious decision, could be yes, to jump into it, or to be no, but then later on, you don't regret it.
Absolutely. Now, folks, I've been talking about a lot of my experience, right? And I'll tell you this. The money I invested is currently on track to, within 5 years, pay my house off. One investment. Now, I plan to do a whole lot more, right? So it's like Wanda said, sometimes it's addicting. You got to get more knowledge, and then you see a lot of more things here. And so I'm going to do a whole lot more, obviously, for myself and my family, because I really do want to, leave them a footing where they don't have to go through all the things that I went through financially, but responsibly, right? It's not just to leave them money. It's going to be structured in a way where the family from here on out can benefit from the decisions I made today, right? Maybe a little too late for me to enjoy them all, but on time. I'll say it's on time. But just one investment, just one. It didn't cost me time. Even if I have to part with it, I'm not worried. That one investment in 5 years will pay my house off. So just food for thought, right? You don't have to jump on anything. We actually encourage you to use due diligence. Get in there, start getting informed, start getting educated, but don't hold yourself back from an opportunity like the one I have. That one that has a whole lot of different opportunities, but one that I have. And I'm telling you from my aspect, from my experience. So we'll leave it at that, Wanda. Thank you so much for being with us. Aloha Friday Live, folks. Thank you for being with us. I see a lot of folks on YouTube and on LinkedIn. Thank you for joining us. Get in the comments. Let us know that it was you that was joining us, and how you your takeaways from today's conversation. I want to remind everybody that DTLW Podcast is on the hunt for 800 subscribers. If you go to YouTube, put at DTLW Podcast, you'll be able to see our show and subscribe and help us get there. What happens then? When we get to 800, somebody is going to be randomly selected to receive an author-signed leadership book. All of my guests, a lot of them are authors. They've agreed to send me their book signed and dedicated to the person who wins the subscription. So you'll get a great education out of it, as well as you're helping us get to that 800 milestone. I want to thank Parade Deck, which is a military-centered platform that actually holds all the military creators in it. So thank you for streaming us live, and we want to thank you for that. Today has been all about Dr. W. Wanda and all the things that she has in store. Get a hold of her, connect with her on LinkedIn. She's on Facebook, Instagram, all these places. Look for her, and I'll make sure to have all those links in the comments for you to do so. Folks, it's been a wonderful time being with you, and we'll see each other next week for another Aloha Friday Live.
Aloha.